Most noble citizens, we must bypass a life of dormancy and vice to pursue the generative endeavor of a hard day's work. The benefits of these pursuits are not secured by chance or charity, but through the merit of your character and the firmness of your convictions. It is you who are planting the seeds of trees whose shade you know you shall never see.
All right. Hello. Welcome to the Broken Wind podcast. We're fired up. We're here. We're drinking THC seltzers.
It's really not a great day to be fired up.
No, it's honestly been a hell of a fucking day, and it's cold as shit where most everyone else is. And, shouts out to anyone dealing with the cold, especially those in Minnesota. I'm your host, Butler. I got my boy Vane here. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing all right. A little bit cold here where I am, too, but I'm managing.
We witnessed a murder today.
Not negative 20, and I didn't get murdered today, so things are relatively
but we all
good.
Witnessed one.
Yeah, we all
witnessed one. And it's fucking unreal. And, to get the obvious important message out there that, ICE has been on a murder spree even before this, and anyone should be well aware of that. And the real Rubicon that's crossed here is now that ICE is openly and blatantly killing the whites. But that does represent an escalation that is not good in any sense. And the murder of Latino the murder of everyone else who was being murdered by them before that was not good in any sense. It was fucking horrible and uncondonable and monstrous. And now it's just a whole different fucking world, though, it feels like, because of the sheer that video is can we talk? Do you want to talk about it? My God, holy shit. It's like a snuff film, dude. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's
still hard to process. Yeah, I think it came to us in 3 different videos. The first one went around this morning and was from one angle, similar to the ones that we got from the Renee Good incident. We're getting different angles coming out at different times. And, we saw this one in the morning from behind, or from a shot where you couldn't really see as much because there's a lot of crowd there. But you certainly saw the body fall and lay lifeless, and heard the shots. Didn't hear as many shots. To me, it was when the second video went around later in the afternoon that you heard at least 10 shots had been fired. And you talk about a crowd, it's a crowd of ICE agents. That's the thing that's so unbelievable about this shit. It's you guys lost control of the situation when there were 10 of you on top of this one guy. Okay, well then maybe you're profoundly unqualified to be armed and given the authority of the state to kill people. Good God, it's fucking horrible. And it's how could there was a gang of these dudes, and one of them is bashing him in the face as this is going on. Yeah. It is unspeakable. And then, as you said, the first video, you can get a sense for the horror of what you've just seen, but then the second video gives a whole other layer to it, not only because of the screaming of the person witnessing it and recording it and thank them for their service, but the sheer just animal, libidinal, just absolutely cowardly way in which that fucking piece of shit just empties the clip into this man's lifeless body. What the if these people are just on a hair trigger like this all the time, it is not the role of the public to coddle their feelings. And the fact that our ostensibly elected officials are telling us this is disturbing in a level I was naive not to experience, to my white surprise. It's just God, this is so awful. It's just unreal what we have seen today transpire in the city of Minneapolis, and solidarity to them, because Yeah, because
God.
this also is in the context, obviously, of being the day after a massive general strike, the likes of which we may have not seen in at least a generation, possibly multiple generations. And it's sort of riding off of the momentum, I guess, of some of the No Kings protests and other mass movements. And it's taking time, but I think that the movement's ultimately starting to find, I say the movement, but it's just people in local communities starting to find ways.
People are fed the up.
Yeah, people are fed up, and they're finding ways to, within their communities. It's going to still take more time, but we're seeing kind of decentralized mutual aid networks forming within communities that I think is going to be a key space to watch.
I mean, let's not suggest anyone watch it too closely, right? So let's just because these motherfuckers. But the thing, thank you for bringing up the chronology a little bit, because I do want to make sure we get that on the record in this discussion too, because there's so much information moving so fast and so much absolute just complete narrative fiction being created by the administration in real time that I think want to, so yesterday was huge general strike and protest in honor of Renee Good and, wanting, and Minnesotans just generally democratically saying, we don't want the federal government doing what it's doing here, pretty unambiguously in large numbers. And that's first. And then this morning, in the course of recording ICE, not anything else, and there's multiple videos that show that this man, no one can find a video of a gun in this man's hand. He never seemed to have a gun in his hand. And that seems to be pretty obvious, from the whole thing, that he never had the gun in his hand at any point. And he's licensed to carry it concealed.
Yeah.
There's no question that he had the right to have that gun on him, and he did not have it out. The only people claiming he did are the federal government in their own defense, and they do not have any evidence of any type, not even a image that they can doctor up. They haven't even tried.
Yeah, and what we do know is that they were spraying chemicals in a lady's face.
Yeah. Oh, it's brutal. They're blasting both of them.
And then he came up to help her and probably say that's not right or something. And then they threw him to the ground, started beating him, a massive mob. And people have gone through just frame by frame analyzing it. And it does appear that he had a gun on him, but never drew it at any point. And it's definitely clear that if the gun was on him and was not being planted, the guy tossed it aside, it lands on the ground and is safe long before even the first shot is fired. So you have an unarmed man lying on the ground. It looks
like an agent carries it away, but it seems also pretty unambiguous from the footage that he was thoroughly disarmed by the time he had 7 ICE agents bearing down on his neck. That seems pretty... It's like they're a pack of jackals just thirsting for a kill. And it's like they all of a sudden saw the opportunity to discharge a weapon and they couldn't stop themselves from swarming. It's disgusting. It's the most vile thing I've ever had to witness with eyes. It was true. And so okay. I remember too that one detail that stuck out to me is that one of the ICE agents, so there's this big tall guy filming him, and there's this other woman in a jacket that ends up being to the left of the man who was murdered, whose name I'm trying to look up right now. But one of the ICE agents just really rushes out to shove that woman and ultimately shoves her to the ground, along with probably pepper spraying her. And they're sort of tangled up at that point. Alex Pretti, that's his name. Alex Pretti is the man who was murdered. And in the course, so from that point on, he's swarmed with ICE agents once again, because like I said, they're just all over him. He is at some point thoroughly disarmed, and you hear agents yelling "gun, gun, gun" in the video. And then some asshole takes that as a reason to kill, maybe multiple. It's hard to tell from the footage. What do you think? There's clearly one obvious shooter, but definitely one clear shooter.
I'm not sure if there's more than one, but yeah, for sure. And it was the same guy who supposedly threw the weapon. Don't know if he's planting this weapon, I'll be honest, on him.
Yeah.
But he seems to pull a weapon from him, toss it on the ground, and then just shoots the guy like 17 times.
Like 10 times. It's crazy. Dude, you have to laugh because it's fucking horrifying. And there's no other way. Dude, it's like, yeah, it is like there is something very darkly humorous about feeling the need to just continually shoot at someone who's already clearly dead, and then being told that you're so brave and everyone has to make sure to be very careful about all the death threats you receive or I will shoot you in the face. Babies with guns. Baby Nazi mafia with gun. It's just like the worst shit I could have. You couldn't conceive of a more fitting end to the American Republic. But okay, so that is what transpires. And there's a video taken from across the street, and that goes very viral very quickly. And then within a half hour of that being released, the DHS, there's a coordinated response from the top down, from the federal government, from these Hitlerian that they show a picture of a gun. They say this guy had a gun on him. I think Trump's statement even also mentions Ilhan, just out of the blue, Ilhan Omar having like $1 million in the bank or something like that. And it's like, the unbridled and unabashed racism, the completely unapologetic, like just brazen criminality with which they cover up their murderous intent. It's as if, what's that quote that like, even trying to pretend to like fight back and argue with them about their reasoning is just a waste of time. That's the point. The Sartre quote, exactly.
Sartre?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Like,
yeah, of course. Arguing with an anti-Semite.
Yeah, exactly.
Or an anti-immigration.
Yes,
Gestapo.
yeah, an anti-immigrant ass. It's like, you're like, I'm not going to change your first principles. I'm not going to change the things you already believe. You have to be repressed. There's no other way to live with these people in society. Like, there's no other way around it. They have to be rounded up and put in jail. Like, anything less is just not enough for me. So, on the timeline, they release this picture of a gun as if it's a justification. You have Greg Bovino, you have the president, you have everyone saying, oh, he was armed, he was going to shoot everyone, despite, as we mentioned, there being zero visible evidence of anyone pulling a gun. There's 8 guys on top of him. Like, you're right. Like, you have to laugh because it's so, to describe it, it's like a cartoon.
You want to hear... This is Border Patrol's first response to this. Their tweet. They say, Border Patrol agents are trained extremely well to protect themselves, their fellow agents, and innocent third parties. When a supposed peaceful protester brings a weapon, such as a loaded handgun, and brandishes it, there are going to be severe consequences and repercussions.
Yeah. Sure.
We have pleaded with and warned the media and politicians that their irresponsible, hate-filled, and false rhetoric is going to get people unnecessarily hurt, or worse, killed, when they portray our agents and officers as the aggressors. So you're threatening us. They have encouraged these reckless confrontations and attacks on our agents and officers who are performing their lawful duties and enforcing the laws that Congress has put on the books. The fake and dishonest media and the shameless politicians should be held accountable for willfully misleading the public and enticing these protesters and agitators. We have full confidence that when more facts are revealed, our agents and officers will be shown to have used justifiable force in eliminating the threat.
I heard Greg Bovino's voice for the first time today. And that man could use some vocal training. I think he needs to do a little male to male.
He needs some work optically and vocally.
Yeah, you're sounding like the manlet little freak that we all know you are, you insecure, pathetic little monster. But there's nothing
He shows himself in that one coat that he knows looks exactly like a Nazi coat.
It's vile, and the comparison to the Nazis cannot be underscored enough. And it's like, it is so
Even Germany actually said his coat. They compared his coat to the.
Look, I mean,
so
like,
it's like an apt comparison when the country itself that formerly was the Nazi party says so.
Nazi history 101 too. That okay, the Gestapo and the real like rise to power of Hitler. One of the crucial parts of the Holocaust of the Third Reich was the building of Hitler's personal army, the SS, and. Like the thing that is really enervating is that like you can repeat that till you're blue in the face, but it's like these don't care and like they know. Then like that's their point. And I think that it needs to be dispensed with in any serious discussion right off the bat that America is not a Nazi adjacent country. And we've talked about this in our ethno-nationalism episode where we talked about like how Lebensraum and Manifest Destiny have their like parallel DNA, and Hitler borrowing from the ideological justifications of the United States being part of the Third Reich.
Their Venn diagram is a circle.
But I think that it must be underscored further, and to that end, I kind of want to give a personal anecdote about my own family, and we'll get to that soon. But I also want to drop a bit of. Not let's say original reporting, but I am someone who speaks a little Italian and is plugged into some Italian news sources. And do you want to hear something on the comparisons to Hitler stuff? Do you want to hear something very, very interesting that is going on right this very moment that's flying probably a little under the radar at this time because it's only in Italian media? You ready?
Yeah, sure.
So
what's happening in Italy?
About the Milanese Olympics happening right now. Right?
In Milan.
Yes, the Winter Olympics happening in the Milan area. So, it has been, I believe, confirmed by at least one news outlet, Il Fatto, that Trump is there with ICE agents on hand, like as his, mafia around him.
Guard,
yeah, his Praetorian guard of ICE agents. Yeah. And I and this is something that Maloney has welcomed and it's like, that if that isn't giving Hitler in the most literal way you can imagine, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I can't add 1 and 1 for you. It's fucking
and the fact that people are defending this as a similar agency to previous agencies, you can just look there's a picture of Bovino surrounded by his goons. And they're basically one and the same of the same people that Trump said, I wish these people looked a little bit better on January 6th, because he doesn't really like that deep base that he's got of support of just the, the type.
Yeah.
The ones that show up there as the Proud Boys and on January
did you catch
6th for him and are now fully staffed.
Did you catch, too, that Enrique Tarrio now works for ICE?
No, I don't know who that is, Enrique Tarrio.
He's one of the original, founding Proud Boys. It's been confirmed that he now works for ICE.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I did see that
one.
I just didn't know he was one of the leaders. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty obvious that was going to happen.
I know.
Yeah, I saw, there's Omar Fateh. He had a pretty good response today. I don't know how far it's going to carry, but he tweeted, ICE murdered another person in my district this morning. This was a flat-out execution, horrific, and absolutely on the hands of these untrained, untamed agents. Every single one of them must be held accountable for their actions. We can no longer allow them to continue on their spree.
Right. And I'll do my impression of Jacob
I don't know
Fry's
how far
statement.
that would rise.
I'll do my impression. ICE needs to get
I saw his statement.
Out of Minneapolis. They need to get the
that was a little bit that was recent or a couple weeks ago, but he had a response today too that I saw. That was only a little bit more performative than what you just did. I mean, and it's going to be the same.
We can talk Democrat. Talk about the parallels to Nazi Germany too. It's we have an absolutely useless and pathetic and seemingly hegemonic somehow still party that is squatting on the position of power that one needs to hold in order to ostensibly resist these people, telling us that they're the main bulwark to resist them, but then doing absolutely zero, zilch, nothing, nada. It's been wildly disheartening, the response from Tim Wall. And it's I never, you know me, not expecting much, but the way they have just gone supine immediately.
Was expecting a little bit more from Tim Walz, since he's got that like gym teacher vibe.
Oh my God.
It seemed like he would kind of come together with his community, but apparently he's not able to. And I'm kind of wondering what like they have on him, because it just doesn't seem totally in his character, to be honest. Not that I have that high expectations. It just seems like he wouldn't be as silent in this moment.
I don't even know. Have we talked Nick Shirley much too already? Like, have we talked about the Nick Shirley bull?
We've talked a bit, and it's definitely worth putting in context. All this lies after Nick Shirley made that those exposés.
The now infamous.
Obviously.
And the thing I wanted to say, I said this on Blue Sky too, but like, me, the way he's listening, one of the first things that mother says, he said this in front of Congress about his piece of shit video, which, by the way, I don't like. Anytime, this is always like one of my keystone understandings of the world, but it's like when you look at the numbers that they're always talking about, like welfare fraud and stuff like that, the Pentagon loses $1 billion just all the time. Like, it's like this is ticky-tacky bull compared to what we waste on war. Like, that is the real use of the lucre that is derived from you through taxes. And anyone falling for this shit about welfare fraud, it's infuriating.
Yeah, he was on Andrew Callahan. He was like praising Elon Musk
like
about
that interview.
His ability to detect fraud. And it's like, I have absolutely no confidence in your ability to detect fraud, since you think that Doge was not really just a grifting scheme for the world's richest man to steal everyone's data.
You could not detect a fly landing on your eyeball because there's so little like neural response going on, you freak. But more importantly, one of the first things he says anytime that video is brought up is that it immediately froze like $185 million of funding for childcare in Minnesota. And it's like, how craven and just completely devoid of like even the intelligence to have compassion or empathy do you have to be to go around bragging that your stupid ass video froze $185 million of funding for childcare in the state of Minnesota, like all of the federal funding for childcare in the state of Minnesota. That is obviously insane as a response to fraud. That's obviously insane.
Health and Human Services, they froze all funding to childcare inside of Minnesota, and then they're asking for businesses to prove that they are legit businesses before they give tax dollars to these businesses that are not really businesses.
With potential, and he's talking now about doing... Yeah, these same nefarious forces behind him now are talking about doing the same in California. So it's like you've started a national conversation for how to attack blue cities in this way. Right. And obviously we know that Minnesota is really just a testing grounds for this, but it was to get this fervent, hysterical group of people to attack the city on this basis of fraud allegations, which is, we've seen something that Trump's been building up to this whole time. The whole they're eating the cats and dogs thing was about Somalis. Yeah, that's
true. No, it's about Haitians.
You're right. Both of these are legal groups, and Somalis are
point.
Like 95% at least of them are legal in this country. So it's just clearly a group that, just like the Haitians that he was yelling about, that is a legal group, and just saying they can't assimilate here because diversity is our weakness.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country.
Yeah, it's easy to other them because they have this unique culture. They have this specific aesthetic. They have this, like, character that makes them recognizable and different from you, and thus it's easy to other them. It's a parallel phenomenon with different groups, but it's f***ed up. It's and you have to be a fucking asshole to fall for it. It makes me so mad.
Right,
dude.
And on that Andrew Callahan interview, Andrew Callahan because he's trying to have some credibility as a journalist. He said, what can I do to have credibility with people like you on the right? Because people do know I'm on the left more, so I get credibility on the left. What can I possibly do to have credibility with people like you on the right? And Nick Shirley said, you have to acknowledge basic truths, okay? And these basic truths are like that Somalians are pirates, okay? And it's like...
Yeah, you know what I was thinking about, man? Is like, on that note, how do you think I could like build more credibility on like the more conservative side of the aisle as far as interviews go?
Don't be afraid to say, what are Somalians known for? When you know the answer inside your head, but you're too afraid to say it.
Well, I just don't know if it's based on a stereotype or if it's not.
You know what they're known for. You said it.
Well,
Pirates. So you're scared.
I'm not scared. I just want to
No,
I'd have
you
to
were
go
scared 'cause
and
you had to
talk to
think.
them.
You had
I'm
to
not
think.
scared. I don't want to go out and say things about people if I don't know the community. I gotta go to the restaurants.
I asked you the question,
dances.
what are they known for? And I knew you knew what they were.
Because Hollywood promoted Captain Phillips. I mean, what are we known for in Somalia? I don't know. Cheeseburgers?
So why'd you question your thought?
I'm not that smart.
So you're asking, how do you gain credibility and trust? Well, you say a fact for a fact.
And the fact is that the first thing I think of when I think
And the
of
fact
Somalia
is, what are
is
Somalians
Captain
known
Phillips.
for? Pirating.
Well, that's in Somalia. There's no pirates in America.
Who's stealing all the money in
It's
Minnesota?
the same as a pirate.
That is piracy. So how do you gain more trust? Well, don't be afraid to say a fact or an opinion.
Even
when
if
you
I know that I'm dumb.
Yes.
Right. It's like f***ing racist bullshit. Yes. And it's like, if you see Nick Shirley walking around your f***ing like town or city or like doctor's office or something with a f***ing camera, I'm going to pretend I work there and tell him to get the f*** out. And then I might just kick his ass.
Yeah.
Too,
How do you know your city is not going to erupt into widespread violence just because this dude showed up like several weeks later? It seems to be basically a direct causality.
And you seem proud of it too, motherfucker. Not even a second of repentance. You're looking at this, acting like this isn't A to B to C.
Yeah.
It's like,
if he's intelligent to actually understand
ignorance, dude.
Yeah, if he has the intelligence enough to actually recognize what he does. But in a way, Trump, this definitely seems to be an explanation for what he does, which is really an explanation for what we all do, that we all like to interact with the world and to see the world respond. And Trump is such an empty person that he needs to feel like there's some kind of response to feel validated, which is why he does half the crazy that he does. But with Nick Shirley, I'm not even sure he can comprehend the response, the trail of destruction that follows in the wake behind him.
A painfully stupid person. And honestly, like, I really, in my heart, I think homeschooling should probably be illegal. I think you really should not be allowed to like socially isolate your children in that way. I mean, and there's like people who do it well.
Yeah, it seems like clear evidence.
Good for you. And like at the end of the day, it's like if you're doing it as a way to protect your children from the poisonous and dangerous, like gun-ridden fucking school system we have in the public school system we have in this country, I guess fair enough. But like it is like you can't be raising little demons like this who are so like you can't be reaching adulthood being this stupid, being this wrong.
Yeah, you need to know how to tie your shoes by adulthood and not be driven around by your mom constantly and be fed the same conservative, benevolent at 22 or 23.
Who do you think
Come
are the
on,
three most benevolent billionaires?
What do you mean by the word benevolent?
Can I tell a story? Honestly, like, I think about this a lot where it's like, I once met someone who had started learning English as one of many languages because they were like born in like a part of Europe or something. So they were learning like several languages at the same time, including English. And that was how they were taught English as, a very, very young person. Let me finish the story. But then they get older and they go to America where they get like this half-baked bull public school education we have here. And they learn English that way, building on the building blocks of English as like a third of their language education. And by the time they reach adulthood, this was probably one of the most poorly, like one of the people who I met who was so bad at like forming sentences as an adult that like it was like nothing I'd ever really met before. It was like it was there was definitely some like level of dyslexia there too, but it's like it is like it's a prison you live in at that point, where it's like the world lets you blunder through it, but it's like you are unable to express how you feel, and thus like understand things on a deeper level too. You're unable to like communicate what is going on behind your eyes in a way that like allows you to recognize that other people have been through that before, and so you're just like trapped in this like prison of language. That I look at someone like Nick Shirley and a lot of these like the way in which because there's so much shame in all this ignorance too, you know what I mean? It's like at a certain point that just becomes like this reactionary hatred and unwillingness to better yourself in any like studious academic way, because that would mean capitulating to the libs that you hate. You know, it's like that's where I feel like it becomes a certain point, and it's just sad. So what were you going to say?
I was going to say that I believe I heard that actually Nick Shirley, when he was young, surprisingly spoke Spanish, which I think is incredible to find out.
Well, yeah, you know, it was something I wanted. I mean, like, me. But,
and then also, I don't know how well he does now, but I think there was a part maybe in the Andrew Callahan interview or something where it was mentioned that he's used to or maybe still does speak Spanish, which is very surprising. And then also, I think it's worth mentioning the theory that I had just brought up is by a German psychologist, Karl Gruss. That's 2 O's, Gruss. And he came up with this theory of play, which I've been thinking about a lot when it comes to Donald Trump, because it's like a psychological explanation potentially for why he does the things that he does, which is just to prove that he exists in the world, like having the ambition of Napoleon and needing to be the guy that conquered Greenland, even though you already have conquered Greenland effectively with a NATO alliance, and you've conquered the whole world with 800 military bases. But you so desperately need to solve this problem of changing light crude oil over to heavy crude oil, which isn't really a problem. It just involves international relations and dependency on our neighbor to the north. And that's a problem for him.
Depending on someone else?
He needs to be dependent in any way on other countries is the wild insecurity
sickening.
That he has. So he needs to prove, to validate his existence, that he's the only one who can square this unsolvable puzzle, which does not need to be solved in any way.
I know, and we mentioned last time we talked Greenland about the parallels to America's behavior towards Spain and the Gulf of Mexico in our Florida series, and I think about that a lot lately, where it was like the Spanish were like, yo, do as you wish here, move on in, trade, use the ports, whatever, dog, like you can do it all, and it wasn't enough.
It's just not enough, for someone like that.
It's the same.
It's like half is never going to be the whole thing.
Urge, it's fucking terrifying, and these are so like. I'm glad we brought up the Greenland thing though too, because like I do not even fully understand the way that it has resolved. It seems that they've sort of been able to jangle the keys is sort of where things are at now. It seems that it's one of those scenarios where it's like
they're giving him a victory in name only, and he's going to take that as if he won something large.
As if he won the FIFA Peace Prize.
Yeah, he did win the FIFA Peace Prize. You got to give him that.
He did. That's true. You can't take that away from him.
And he also technically won the Nobel Peace Prize that he so desperately wants.
Holy shit, that's right. She actually gave it to him too, and she got a swag bag.
Still a swipe. No thanks.
She probably got like the boxers of like some like tomato can boxer that no one even remembers. It's like, dude,
he was like high five, low five, and then never gave her anything else.
All right, thanks, see you later. It's just like I would love to discuss the current situation. It's like bye. It's like I would love to discuss being in charge of Venezuela. See you later, honey. Like that's how that went.
Maybe next
she's
time.
Ushered out of there by Stephen Miller and
she's a nice lady
or whoever. Yeah, my God. Okay, so yeah, I mean Greenland. Like I said, it's like I don't think it's over because for one, the Canadian century of Chinese assimilation seems to have begun, and That's going to be interesting because they have a major China. I mean,
and
Canada,
Carney gave
Canada
a pretty
has,
incredible speech that's going to be looked at as a pretty defining speech at the World Economic Forum.
Let me be direct. We are in the midst of a rupture, not a transition. Over the past 2 decades, a series of crises in finance, health, energy, and geopolitics have laid bare the risks of extreme global integration. But more recently, great powers have begun using economic integration as weapons. Tariffs as leverage, financial infrastructure as coercion, supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited. On Arctic sovereignty, we stand firmly with Greenland and Denmark and fully support their unique right to determine Greenland's future. It seems that every day we're reminded that we live in an era of great power rivalry, that the rules-based order is fading, that the strong can do what they can and the weak must suffer what they must. And this aphorism of Thucydides is presented as inevitable, as the natural logic of international relations reasserting itself. And faced with this logic, there is a strong tendency for countries to go along to get along, to accommodate, to avoid trouble, to hope that compliance will buy safety. Well, it won't. Let me be direct. We are in the midst of a rupture, not a transition. Over the past 2 decades, a series of crises in finance, health, energy, and geopolitics have laid bare the risks of extreme global integration. But more recently, great powers have begun using economic integration as weapons. Tariffs as leverage, financial infrastructure as coercion, supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited. On Arctic sovereignty, we stand firmly with Greenland and Denmark and fully support their unique right to determine Greenland's future. But I'd also say that great powers can afford for now to go it alone. They have the market size, the military capacity, and the leverage to dictate terms. Middle powers do not. But when we only negotiate bilaterally with a hegemon, we negotiate from weakness. We accept what's offered. We compete with each other to be the most accommodating. This is not sovereignty. It's the performance of sovereignty while accepting subordination.
yeah. And all the people posting on Reddit of like, here's me and my, UK, Canadian, European, colleagues in Afghanistan and Iraq not helping out the U.S. I'm sorry. You should not be posting your L's like that. It's not always cool to serve in the military. People really need to get that through their heads that just not every tour of duty. I have much more respect for a Iraq war veteran who never talks about that and never brags about that. You have a lot more respect for me than going around acting like that was just some step in your career path. Sorry to tell you, dude, but that was a monstrous imperial conquest, and everyone knew it, and you just went along to get along, and that says a lot about you. So, I don't know. I'm feeling a lot of things. We're going to talk about America as a Nazi country and why that's not hyperbolic. I think we can close out on that anecdote. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Totally.
All right, audience. So this is a rather personal anecdote, and I try not to dox myself on this show, but I thought this was a good and interesting bit of personal color to bring out about why I am the way I am and think the way I think. And you can find this. This is not really secret or privileged information. There is a book out there that's name is escaping me at the moment about the role of IBM in the Holocaust. But for those who aren't aware, IBM had a subsidiary. IBM as in International Business Machines, as in the company that went on to become Microsoft and many others. Very foundational company in the history of computation in America. Yeah, pretty well known. They
what they did.
Had a subsidiary in Germany. Yeah, this is like old hat. People know this shit. They had a subsidiary in Germany called Dehomag that was bidding on the contract for the Third Reich to do the census.
It's very important for us to have data, yeah. Very important data,
Thomas Watson was in Germany at the time of Kristallnacht and still told them to bid on that contract. Thomas Watson, the CEO of IBM, which, you know, should tell you everything you need to know about it. And they won the contract, they did the deal, and they ultimately were what's been shown is that the areas that were digitally censused on like punch card machines from IBM were a lot more effective in their murder campaign and Holocaust. And I mean, my grandpa's been to museums where you can see punch card machines and been like, oh, I know how those work. It's like, that is what I mean. Where it's like, I have family who worked for IBM and way back in the day. And that's like, you know, always something I found interesting once I learned about it, that it's like there is this through line.
And in the emerging world of data today,
you know what I mean?
And with a company like Palantir, keep that in mind.
Exactly. I think about that too. I think about that all the time with all this AI and Palantir too. And it's like, I mean, I gotta say too, it's like, this is just a small thing, but it's like, is it controversial to say don't use AI? Just don't use it? Like, I don't understand why that should be. I really like. I feel like
every way possible. Your brain will thank you for it.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is like I'm not trying to be a Luddite about it. I can see applications for it, but it's like make sure you're using the AI and the AI is not using you, and that's a very, very fine line. And you're just like around with this thing, asking it like you're about your hopes and dreams, and just scribble out your I don't know what. Man, like it's not. I mean, it's gaining a lot more from that than you are at the end of the day. Like it really is.
Yeah. I mean, that speaks to a larger conversation that Marx ultimately brought up about man being at the mercy of his own machines, and ultimately the market no longer being his own tool, but being enslaved to the market. And I think that's a problem that we find whenever we have this focus on your world and data and over analyzing and rationalizing everything. That's ultimately what leads to austerity politics.
Absolutely.
The reason that you can't forgive anybody's debts for anything, you can't imagine any sort of debt relief, or even if Donald Trump claims every once in a while he wants to cap interest rates at 10%, why aren't you talking about reducing the principal balance for people? Why aren't you talking about actually meaningfully disrupting in any way the amount of debt that people have right now? The fact that we're opening up a world where now people are borrowing microtransactions and borrow as you go for grocery transactions, and
the dollar is going to be worth garbage. The dollar's going to be worth nothing.
More and more Christmas gifts we saw being borrowed on credit. So more and more, that's the world that we're leading to, of greater rationalization, and that leads to austerity. We know where it leads. And treating people as human livestock, of course.
Right. Well, and I was just griping about this the other day too, that I'm so sick of hearing about data-driven decisions. It's all you hear anyone saying anywhere, especially in like the professional world. And at the end of the day, it's like it makes me sick, because it's like, yeah, you want to have data, but you don't want to assume data is infallible or really removed from context. Viewed without any meaning outside of like the data you choose to highlight.
Yeah, we're seeing it ruining as the data everything itself. Yeah,
you can use companies a spreadsheet to tell
like
yourself whatever you want.
Putting themselves on your news so that you're putting data on everything, and then the same is happening with sports and ruining the experience of sports for people who enjoy that. That you're going to hear stats every game. You're going to hear about the last time that it rained on a Thursday and it was 52 degrees and the wind was blowing due southeast, and the conditions are exactly the same as this game back in 1972. Who gives a fuck? Watch the game. Enjoy the fucking game.
Yeah, exactly. And what I'm fucking preach, brother. And what I'm saying too is that, like, at the end of the day, like, I want to end on a hopeful note that's like the problem with this worldview is that it truly, like, there is a latency to data, and there is also like a process by which data has to be made qualitatively meaningful. And people really can truly tell themselves any kind of story they want to themselves with a spreadsheet, and that is one of the biggest weaknesses of this whole way of doing things. All these like AI barons, these Palantir shitheads, is that like they do not have the ability to predict the unpredictable as much as they think they do.
And they're still not going to let you win, just like we found with these Kalshi ads and these sports betting ads. If you're the model customer that they're advertising on their commercials and you actually win because you know the game better than anybody else, just like the person that they're advertising to, it turns out they're going to cap you. They're not going to let you actually take your wins.
Right.
Just like gambling at the casino. Like, wake up. The house always wins.
Yeah. And again, they're going to tell you it's statistically improbable that ICE will ever be, completely rounded up and tried in a kangaroo court and imprisoned. But you know what? It doesn't happen until it happens. And maybe the data never said it would never happen. But guess what? Inshallah, it does. Who knows? So
your world and data.
Yeah, we're gonna try and put the data together to tell the story we want there, and
make sure to bet on those odds of Nuremberg trials.
This episode was sponsored by and I'm kidding. That's not true.
Don't participate in these things. Fuck Kalshi and also
just watch the game. Just watch the game. I think that's the great. You just watch the game. Participate in the game. Even you can go and get out there and get some sacks in. And if you can, you should. And it's dangerous as hell, but blow the whistle. There you go. Blow the whistle. Call foul on the play. That's what they're doing out there in Minnesota right now. Solidarity. Fuck ICE. The administration. The federal government.
Throw the refs out if the refs suck.
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
the whole place can just demand to throw them out, I guess. That's where we're at.
We need the Democrats
the officiation is awful
coming to save us.
Game.
So it's time to invest in a new party movement, and I think that's not going to be an immediate overnight thing. But I like what the things the PSL are doing. I'm very curious what they're getting up to.
And I like what neighborhoods are doing. We're seeing some neighborhoods really coming together and starting to build networks, which don't happen overnight, but they're behaving in decentralized ways. They're telling people how to behave as a model in a community, and that's just being taught as decentralized leaders go around and teach how to protect their own citizens within their communities.
When I imagine a machine that can see into everyone's phones and computers and hear every microphone and see through every camera, that kind of data noise coming at something and having to be parsed through is no easy feat. And AI can help with that.
That's what Palantir's up to.
But
all see now.
What they found was like
those good guys who decided to model their company after Sauron, the bad guy in the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, they found Graham Plattner's Nazi tattoo. Is that their biggest dub so far? Like, these people are not. They're gonna talk about themselves literally like fucking Sauron. Like, they will talk about themselves in those terms.
Can you sense that people fucking hate you? Do you sense that, Peter?
Can you, motherfuckers? Yeah, can you, Peter? Can you, Alex Karp? Can you smell it? Can you smell that we want to fucking drink your blood? Because you know what? I'm getting thirsty. I never thought I would. I'm a vegan, not one for blood, but this is getting ridiculous. They were scanning faces, is what you're hearing too in Minnesota.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Scanning faces. They picked up all the people who were filming, and they're scanning people's faces. And they use technology like this in Iraq and the Middle East throughout America's prolonged campaign to, occupy and conquer that area throughout the Neo Crusade that's been going on there. So we should sign off.
Yeah, send off to some third-party data broker, I'm sure. Yeah. Who's going to capitalize on it, just like the humans that they're throwing. What I'm saying. Yeah.
We're not sending off data. I'm just saying we should sign off the show.
We'll sign off. That's enough data for you.
That's enough data for you, Palantir. Thank you for listening, Alex Karp and Peter Thiel, if you're listening. And then
make sure to sign up for the Patreon. Remember, there's a top tier.
Sign up 60 times if you can, or just send us.
Remember, we made a special tier for you guys.
We can do conservative. We're really good at it. Just get ready for the next episode. We're gonna do. We're getting back in our conservative bag, but let's sign off. Follow me at Butler's Ghost on Blue Sky. I'm trying to get better at posting. I'm doing my best. And then you want to plug it? We got Vane on Blue Sky there. Follow the show.
Yeah, follow the show.
And then
sign up for the Patreon if you want some bonus content.
Sign up for the Patreon if you can.
Stay tuned for episode 6 of Florida too.
Yep. And we got a lot of new stuff planned for the new year, so keep an ear out. We'll be back. We'll talk to you soon.
Also got some February news content or Black History Month.
We got some good Black History Month coming, so just hang tight, gang. We're going through it, but all right, let's go. We'll talk to you later, y'all. Peace.
See you later.
To my knees, yeah.